For ages and throughout time, countless people and nations have come to these mountains. Making their way through these hills, what were they searching for? Some called the mountains the world of the gods, while some worshiped them as gods on their own. They were home to many dangers. But they were also mothers that harbored an abundance of life. Within its large embrace, people ate, lived, and died, and became one with the mountains. To humanity, mountains have always been more than just nature's towers. Korea, also called the Kingdom of the Mountains. The Baekdu-daegan mountain range starts from the northern end of the Korean peninsula to the southern tip. There are as many as 10,000 mountains in this country. They cover 70% of South Korea. Koreans have adapted to these giants and lived in harmony with them throughout history. All the mountain ridges and valleys are marked with traces of history made by people and nature. To look for these natural masterpieces, we go high up into the sky and discover the Korean mountains. The very first Korean mountain we visit is Jirisan. It is the widest mountain within South Korea. It is a friendly mountain with smooth features that welcomes approximately 3 million visitors each year. It is said that even the clouds barely make it over the highest peak of Jirisan, Changwon-bong Peak. It has an altitude of 1,915 meters. The sea of cloud that passes by the mountain can only be seen at dawn. In order to see this extraordinary sight, many people come to the peak before sunrise. The sunrise lights up the mountain, and a vast mountain range unravels endlessly before our eyes. From Changwon-bong Peak, there are mountains everywhere we look. The Jirisan mountain range stretches 40 kilometers from the east to the west, and its area is 4 times that of Paris. Jirisan is known for its abundance of life. Over 8,000 species, from trees, bears, otters to small insects, inhabit the mountain. Jirisan is one big ecosystem. Its soil is rich, and its valleys flow with water. It is no wonder that Jirisan is full of life. people have been no exception. Since the ancient times, people have established villages at Jirisan. One village led to another. Now there are over 300 villages at the foot of this mountain. Whenever people settled here, Jirisan welcomed them with its warm, motherly embrace. A village is located at the base of the mountain. In front of it, terraced paddy fields glisten in the sun. The mountain slopes were formed into steps and embankments to build paddy fields. For rice to grow, a warm climate and plenty of water are required. Since Jirisan meets both requirements, people have been able to grow rice in its soil. Come summer, the terraces turn deep green. The crops have grown well on all the steps. Since the past, people have chosen to protect the landscape of the mountain and lead a life of coexistence. Fully grown crops are a golden carpet at the foot of the mountain. To manage and grow these crops, farmers work diligently every year. This year, it seems that the mountain has rewarded the farmers with the fruits of their labor. In the past, the people who could not attain flat land for farming came to Jirisan, and the mountain welcomed them. For this, the farmers have always been grateful to Jirisan. For thousands of years, Jirisan remains unchanged and provides a place of refuge for its inhabitants. In the southwestern skirt of Jirisan, a flower festival is held every spring. A road filled with light pink flowers stretches for 6 kilometers. This road is widely known as Honle-gil. It is said that if a couple walks down the road hand in hand, they will happily grow old together. The road starts from a crowded market. When we walk straight up, we reach Jirisan's famous Buddhist temple, Sangyesa. The temple itself is beautiful, but it has become even more famous because of its wild green tea plantation. The tea grows wildly, sparsely and naturally, away from the people's reach. The fresh wind and dew help Hadong's wild tea leaves grow. The tea is famous for its deep but delicate flavor. The first tea stone, standing in the middle of the tea fields, lets us know that this is where Korea's history of tea began. It is said that approximately 1,200 years ago, a person from the Shilla Kingdom brought seeds from China and planted them at Jirisan. The green tea of Jirisan was presented to the king for generations because of its deep flavor and fame. Currently, green tea grows on approximately 10 million square meters near Jirisan. Over 1,000 years, Jirisan grew fragrant tea. The people did not have to cultivate it themselves. The mountain took care of the weary. Naturally, Jirisan was called the Mother Mountain. In the past, Koreans believed that each mountain was inhabited by a mountain god. But unique to Jirisan, people worshipped a mountain goddess. At Baengnokdam Peak, one of the 3 highest peaks, people held a religious ceremony to worship the Mother Goddess. so another meaning of the name Nogadan is an altar for the goddess. The slope to Nogadan Peak is not too steep, and it is wide. Many, including the Hwarang of the Shilla Kingdom, came to the peak and piled up stones one by one to make the altar. Jirisan's mountain goddess can also be found on the southeastern slope of Jirisan in a small temple called Changwon-sa. The small stone statue is the goddess of Jirisan. We do not know the exact time when it was made, but it has been with the people for a long time, protecting the mountain. People still come to pray to the goddess, and her kind smile consoles weary hearts. Now we go deep into a valley approximately 7 kilometers away from Changwon-sa. This large temple is Samong. If there ever was a village of gods, this is what it would look like. Samong is a temple built to worship the gods that are rooted deep within Korean culture. Tall trees, a large lake, and countless pagodas and ramparts create a mystical atmosphere. Worshippers of these gods individually stack stones to build the temple over a period of 40 years. The countless stones are traces of their years of worship. One important god is the goddess Mago of Jirisan. The name of the walls surrounding Samong is Mago Fortress, after the goddess. In the Korean folk religion, Mago is the goddess that created the world. The worshippers at Samong preserve the culture with martial arts, dance, and meditation. These days, Jirisan is densely covered with trees. But just over 50 years ago, the area experienced a rapid deforestation. In the chaos after the Korean War, illegal deforestation devastated Jirisan. At the time, the residents of Gore, located at the base of the mountain, created a hiking trail, raised funds, and campaigned for the National Parks Act. As a result, the National Parks Act was passed and Jirisan became the first national park. Through careful management and protection, Jirisan was restored to the condition it is today. The mountain that embraces and protects people was revived by the people. The people said that they could not just watch from the sidelines while the mountain they called Mother was being devastated. The beauty of Jirisan we see today is an example of the coexistence of mountain and people. Jirisan holds a special place in the hearts of Koreans. The Mother Mountain will continue to embrace its people. Now, to see Hallasan, the tallest and most unique mountain in South Korea, we travel to Jeju. Jeju is an island created by volcanic eruptions millions of years ago. In the old days, it was called Samdado. Samdado refers to the island's abundance in three things: rocks, wind, and women. It is a barren land with more rocks than soil. It's directly exposed to the sea breeze. And widows have had to make their own living after losing their husbands to the sea. Truly, the name Samdado describes the harsh lives of the island's residents. But today, Jeju is blessed with its natural environment. Its emerald oceans, peculiar landscapes, and unique culture capture the hearts of visitors. Hallasan stands tall in the middle of the island. The mountain shapes the island's environment and culture. The island's residents say that Jeju is Hallasan and Hallasan is Jeju. This is true because the eruptions at Hallasan created the island. Jeju residents call this gentle and generous mountain mother and grandmother. The goddess grandmother Sol Moon, who created Jeju in the island's mythology, was believed to have lived on Hallasan. This is the highest point on Hallasan in South Korea. The Baengnokdam crater sits at an altitude of 1,950 meters. Places with peculiar geographical features usually have stories about gods attached to them. In the old days, people believed Baengnokdam was where grandmother Sol Moon would sit down to rest. At its highest altitude, it certainly looks like a seat for the gods. Its mysterious beauty deepens with rain. When it rains, Baengnokdam transforms into an emerald lake. Although it is called grandmother, Hallasan is young compared to Jirisan. The walls of Baengnokdam still have marks from the eruptions. The eastern and western slopes of the crater display different features. The eastern slope is soft and gradual. This is why the people hiking Baengnokdam climb the eastern Songpanak Trail. Animals also use this trail. On the other hand, the western slope shows different features. Its plunging cliffs and sharp rocks differ from the features of the eastern slopes. The landscape was created because thin and not so viscous lava flowed from the eastern slopes, while highly viscous lava flowed down the western slopes. Although it is still autumn, Baengnokdam is already covered white with ice. Jeju winter starts from the top of Hallasan and gradually travels down. This place, where the western wall of Baengnokdam can be seen, is the Songjakjiwat Plain. The plain is most beautiful in spring when the flowers bloom. The name means a field with a small standing rock. Black rock, pink flowers, and the open field create a heavenly beauty. There is a secret beneath this peaceful scenery. There is an ongoing, silent battle for survival. Unlike Jirisan, Hallasan is not suitable for life. In order to survive on its barren soil and unpredictable weather, trees lie flat on the ground and spread their roots deeply into the earth. This is how these Korean fir survive. These trees grow at high altitudes and are found only in Korea. Even in Korea, 70% of the Korean fir grows on Hallasan. At low altitudes, the Korean fir grows tall like other fir trees. But here, they are shorter with denser branches. The seemingly endless forest of Korean fir suddenly stops. Here the altitude is between 1,400 to 1,600 meters. We arrive at Byongpung Rock, at a valley located at the southwest of Hallasan. 1,200 stone pillars rise from the earth and stand close together to form a screen. In autumn, the foliage between the pillars has different colors, adding to the beauty of the place, and its picturesque scenery is impressive. Beside Byongpung Rock is Yongsil Cliff. The name Yongsil actually refers to the valley surrounded by 500 oddly formed rocks. The cliff's scenery is also called Yongsil because it resembles Yongsan, the mountain where Buddha taught his followers. Yongsil is the second holy place on Hallasan after Baengnokdam. Yongsil also has a story of grandmother Samong attached to it, a sad one. Long time ago, when Jeju was suffering from a severe drought, grandmother Samong was making rice porridge for her 500 starving sons. She accidentally fell into the pot. The sons were outside when it happened. They did not know what had happened and ate the rice porridge. It was only after they almost finished the rice porridge that they discovered the bones inside the pot. The 500 sons were so shocked they instantly turned to stone. The 500 sons that turned to stone make up Yongsil Cliff today. So a long time ago, when the people were so poor and weary, they believed that even the gods starved. People told stories by connecting the gods to the peculiar landscape around them. Many areas of Hallasan have such stories. When we descend the mountain, we are greeted by treasures created over the years by Hallasan. Big and small mountain ridges rise above the plain. They are parasitic cones, also called orum in the Jeju dialect. There are 368 orums of various shapes in Jeju, and the landscape is unique to the island. The orums were created by smaller volcanic eruptions that followed the main eruption that created Hallasan. People enjoy trekking along the gentle ridges of the orums. In autumn, the orums glisten with the silver grass. The people of Jeju love and cherish the beautiful orums. Like people, orums also come in different shapes and sizes. This orum is the most visited on the island. It is the Songsan Ilchilbong. The view of the sunrise from the peak is a magnificent must-see sight of Jeju. Songsan Ilchilbong was created approximately 100,000 years ago. The lava hardened in a unique shape after erupting inside the ocean. There are 99 cones surrounding the crater. The autumn resembles a crown. The walls of the peak, chipped away by the wind and waves, still contain the sediments from the time of the eruption. UNESCO has declared Songsan Ilchilbong an internationally significant location that helps understand the volcanic eruptions, and has designated it as both a world national heritage and a global geopark. "10,000 people come to see this 180-meter autumn every day." Sangbansan is another unique autumn visited by many people. It was the first autumn created on Jeju. Approximately 80,000 years ago, highly viscous lava gradually rose from the ground to form a dome. When a marvelous landscape has a story, it stands out even more. And Sangbansan has a story. Once upon a time, a hunter accidentally shot the buttocks of the Jade Emperor with his arrow. Furious, the emperor grabbed the top of Hallasan and threw it down on the ground, which became Sangbansan today. The circumferences of Baengnokdam crater and Sangbansan are almost the same, and the two have similar geological features, which make the story an amazing coincidence. Halfway up Sangbansan, there is a cave. People of the Goryeo kingdom placed a statue of Buddha in the cave. From the 900s to today, visitors have come to pray in the cave. There is a saying that if a woman who cannot get pregnant comes to pray, the woman will be blessed with a child. When we look south from the cave, we see a dragon's head facing the ocean. The magnificent rock face was created by layers of volcanic ash accumulated over the years. Sangbansan and Yongmori Beach have been designated global geoparks by UNESCO and are loved by many people. Gangwon-do got its name from its thick forest. It is so thick it appears to be black. As the name suggests, the autumn is covered with a virgin forest. Deep within the forest, marks left by the flow of lava remain. Gangwon-do, a World Natural Heritage Site, limits the number of visitors per day and is strictly managed to protect its ecosystem. The lava did not just create autumns. The lava that made Gangwon-do continued to flow northeast. The lava on the surface hardened, but it continued to flow beneath the surface. The place became a cave once the lava flowed out. The lava flow that began the autumn created 20 or so lava caves. Manjang-gul is one of the most well-known lava caves. Manjang-gul was created several hundred years ago, but it was unknown to man for ages. The cave was first discovered in 1946 by a teacher and 30 students from a nearby elementary school. The first expedition began with torches and straw shoes. When they took their first steps, they probably did not know that this was a large cave that continued for 7.4 kilometers. The cave walls are engraved with the path of the lava flow. The inside of Mangjang-gul is well preserved. The cave is a valuable resource for researching the formation process of volcanic caves. The approximately 7.6-meter tall lava column at the end of the tourist area is the biggest in the world. After forming the numerous caves, the lava continued to the ocean. The lava was rapidly cooled by the blue ocean, and it hardened into a peculiar shape. The paths where lava once flowed now flows with water. The Jongbang Pokpo are marvelous waterfalls that connect to the ocean. Making a living in the beautiful landscape was not an easy task. Unlike Jirisan, Hallasan lacks rich soil and drinking water. The residents of the island had to come up with various ways to adapt to the land. Black lines embroider the land. The lines that stretch across the land are field walls of Jeju. The total length is 22,000 kilometers, making it longer than the Great Wall of China. The field walls, or batdam, are made from stones collected while cultivating the land. The walls mark the boundaries of the farms. They are a part of a 1,000-year-old farming culture unique to the island. The Food and Agricultural Organization of the United Nations designated Jeju Batdam a globally important agricultural heritage system. Up close, the stones look like they are loosely stacked, but the spaces between the rocks let through an appropriate amount of wind. This is how the walls remain standing against the strong winds of the island. The porous basalt rock also retains water when it rains and lets out moisture when the soil is dry. There is a reason why the walls were built in such wavy lines. Thanks to the curves, the walls do not wash away with rain. The wisdom of the people from 1,000 years ago has withstood numerous typhoons that hit Jeju. The island residents use the abundant volcanic stones on the island. The island's culture regarding the stones is also visible at Songeup historic village. Unlike other fortresses in Korea, the walls here are black. The basalt stone grandfather at the entrance of the village protects the village. Inside the village, houses unique to Jeju catch our attention. The island's residents made the houses' walls by mixing soil with the island's rocks. They made the roofs with the grass from the autumns. The roofs can withstand the strong winds of the island. There are stone walls between each house. In the old days, the island did not have thieves, so the traditional Jeju houses do not have main doors. The black stone walls were built to be shorter than a person's height. They served merely as boundaries. The black stones created by the volcano are used in every part of the island's residents' lives. Here we see stone walls built on every autumn. What are they? They look like smaller autumns built on top of the autumns. It is a funeral style unique to Jeju called sandam. The island's residents believe that when the dead is buried in an autumn, which looks like a pregnant woman's belly, the dead would go to a place as peaceful as a mother's womb. This is why many sandams can be found in autumns. Coming from and returning to the autumns was life. The sun rises from the ocean, same as it did millions of years ago. To the ancients, Hallasan and its rough environment could have been considered a curse from the gods. But they are now the jewels of Jeju that cannot be found anywhere else. The landscape formed from the volcanic eruption created a peculiar landscape and a unique living culture that came from adapting to the environment. UNESCO recognized the value of the island by designating Hallasan and the island's volcanic landscape as World Natural Heritage Sites, Global Geoparks, and Biosphere Reserves. 15 million people visit Jeju annually to see them. As a result, Jeju's tourism industry makes $4.5 billion every year. Hallasan created the beautiful island of Jeju. It was a mother to its residents. Hallasan is the birthplace of Jeju's traditional culture, and it is a mountain of blessings that existed alongside its people. Now let's go to the most mountainous province of South Korea, Gangwon-do. Most of Gangwon-do consists of mountains. In fact, only 5% of the province's regions have an elevation of less than 100 meters. Among the many mountains of Gangwon-do, the most famous is Seoraksan. Because of its beautiful features, there is a saying that a person who visits Seoraksan just once cannot help but fall in love with it forever. Seoraksan has a giant granite rock at its foundation. It is a rugged and rocky mountain. Oddly shaped boulders are shaped as if cut with a knife. The green of the plants on these boulders provide an amazing view. Within the amazing scenery is the mountain's famous Ulsan Bawi. The circumference of this rock is 4 kilometers. Ulsan Bawi can be seen from far away. It is the symbol of Seoraksan. Ulsan Bawi looks peculiar, as if someone placed a rock on top of a stone pillar. The rock is formed from the erosion of the mountain's granite. There are steps reaching to the top of Ulsan Bawi. The altitude is very high, but people dream of climbing to the top of the rock at least once in their lifetime. On the other side of Ulsan Bawi is a small temple that dates back 1,400 years. It is the Gyeoam Temple. It is said that many famous monks trained at this temple because they could absorb the chi of the nearby Ulsan Bawi. Even to this day, an endless stream of people with earnest hopes visits the temple. As the seasons change, the beauty of Seoraksan only becomes more glorious. Many people come to the mountain in autumn to see the foliage. Its colorful autumn leaves, emerald valleys, and beautiful rocks are undoubtedly a masterpiece. When we go deeper into the valley, we find a grand waterfall that flows quietly but forcefully. Towangsong Pokpo is one of the best scenes of the mountain. The waterfall looks as if white threads are hanging from the sky. The thin streams of water falling from the high altitude are mystical. The total height of the waterfall is 320 meters, as much as a 120-story building. The long streams of water that flow from between the clouds make the sight surreal. Despite its marvelous beauty, it was not widely known. This was because it was hidden deep within the mountain and surrounded by rough terrain. Only a few people could see the waterfall. Even in recent years, the site is not open to regular hikers because of the rough terrain. In 2016, an observatory for the waterfall was built, and it allowed people to see it from afar. There is an impressive sight at the base of the mountain every winter. It is Hwangtae Dokjang. Hwangtae means dried polak. In winter, during the polak season, fishermen catch lots of polak and hang them to dry for 3 months. In the cold climate, which can dip below minus 15 degrees Celsius, the polaks freeze and thaw multiple times. The polaks turn yellow. The meat becomes chewy and juicy, and the flavor is enhanced. In the mountainous terrain of Gangwon-do, approximately 2,000 tons of dried polak are produced every year. Because the land was too barren to farm, people created Hwangtae Dokjangs, which provided great jobs for the region. Their creation was made possible by Gangwon-do's cold climate and clean air filtered by the dense forests of the region. Today, the mountains are considered beautiful scenery, but in the past, the rugged mountain terrain was a resentful walk. To survive in the mountainous region, people needed to adopt a method of living that was slightly different from the others in Korea. This area, decorated with white buckwheat flowers, is Bongbyong in Gangwon-do. This region is surrounded by famous mountains, including Odaesan and Cheongdaesan. The area is filled with buckwheat fields. Since the region's climate is too cold and dry to grow rice, most farmers grew buckwheat and potatoes. The harsh lifestyle of the old days now remains through beautiful fields of flowers. Today, many people visit this area to see these flowers. In the mountains, there are particular houses that are called shingled houses, a style for mountainous regions. Unlike a thatched roof house, which uses yellow rice sheaf as roofs, the shingled house looks a little rougher and more rugged. Many layers of thick boards made from pine wood are laid down, and rocks and logs are placed on top of the boards to prevent them from flying away. The trees are cut along the grain to allow rain and snow to flow to the ground. Shingled houses are warmer and sturdier than thatched roof houses. They're houses that adapted to the mountain life. Underneath the mountains of Gangwon-do, there is an abundance of resources such as anthracite, iron ore, and limestone. About 30 to 40 years ago, Gangwon-do's mining industry was at its heyday. There was a saying, Gangwon-do lives off of its coals. But when cheaper minerals began to be imported, most of the mines started to close. This is an inactive mine. It was once the largest privately owned mine in the country, producing 1 million tons of coal a year. The black hill behind the building is a heap of waste rock, mined from thousands of meters underground. The train that once carried the resources now carries visitors. The mine closed in 2004 and is now used as an exhibition hall. When we go up higher into the mountains, the wind grows fiercer. This place is also known as the Hill of Wind. It is Daegwalyeong. In Daegwalyeong, a 6.7 meter per second westerly wind blows continuously. Many wind power generators face the wind. Approximately 250 million kilowatts of electricity is generated annually in this region. They can power a small to medium-sized city. The white wind power generators on the tops of the hills create a pleasant scenery at Daegwalyeong. Flocks of sheep graze on the pastures. Daegwalyeong has the largest ranch in Asia. Daegwalyeong is constant in its level of humidity. Therefore, its environment is suitable for pastures. The region is great for ranching, especially because of its cool summers. Cows and sheep are released in the pastures to graze peacefully. Another unusual scenery in Gangwon-do is created by its climate. It is the village of Anbandegi, located on a plateau at an altitude of 1,100 meters. On top of a high mountain, the terrain is flat, resembling a plate. The area's residents cultivate the red soil. It is now spring, so the land is red. But when summer comes, the fields will be filled with green vegetation. The crop most widely grown here is cabbage. Cabbage is the main ingredient of kimchi. It is one of the most consumed products in Korea. Thanks to the high altitude, the region maintains a cool temperature even in summer. The cabbage grows without getting damaged. The region has the largest cultivation area in the country. The high mountains of Gangwon-do, which were like walls in the past, now provide new opportunities for its residents to make a living. Today, we exist with the mountains in more diverse ways. In Korea, Pyeongchang gets the heaviest snowfall. The first ski slope in Korea was built in the area. In 2018, the world came together in Pyeongchang for the Winter Games. Over time, Pyeongchang became Korea's center for mountain sports. As a result, Pyeongchang was chosen to host the 2018 Winter Olympic Games. Having such a massive mountain sports complex, only 1.5 hours away by car from the capital city, is very rare around the world. Thankfully, many are able to easily access and enjoy mountain sports. People are now enjoying mountains in more diverse ways. The mountains of Gangwon-do still embody potential. The mountains of South Korea, which cover 70% of the nation's land, made the culture of the country more colorful. Being able to live in harmony with the mountains has become a masterpiece on its own. No matter how much time passes or the world changes, mountains stay in their original places. We must protect the culture that was formed by the coexistence of the mountains and people, and we must continue writing new stories together. This is how mountains and people will be able to coexist forever.